In today's story time, I go over a true story of a girl that lost millions from her bad boy ex that stole it from her right under her nose and she didn't even notice because it was her parents' money. If that sounds interesting, stay tuned. Okay, so back about 10, 11 years ago, yeah, 2013 if I remember correctly, uh, or a little before that. Uh, this I used to work at the Wells Fargo call center in a certain location, and yeah, I handled all sorts of calls, judging from people's checking accounts to they want to open a savings account or why they get an overdraft fee, that sort of thing. One of the worst jobs I've ever had, but I did get to hear many people's crazy stories, and this is one of them. So, this poor lady, this girl, this young woman, she lived in New York City, and her, she and her ex-boyfriend broke up, and he stole between $1 to $2 million or more easily from her checking account, and she didn't even notice. That's the crazy part. But let's get into it. So, long story short, she calls and wants to file a fraud claim and other stuff. And my department didn't handle all that, but we did handle like the initial paperwork, right? I had to ask the initial questions, like what happened, for how long, for estimate how much, that sort of thing. Did you file a police report? All those questions. And so she's telling me her story, and I guess she had like the typical relationship gone south, and he was a bad boy, of course, and um she didn't realize it, quote quote, yeah, right. They know, right? Like she knew he was trouble and he locked in. Like, don't give me this, like, you didn't know. But yeah, he apparently took advantage of her, and I don't obviously condone that. Like, I don't care if you're a man or a woman. Like, I know we're mostly a man's channel here, but if you do something bad, like, I'm gonna condemn that too. Like, I don't like women scamming men overseas. Like, I don't like men scamming women either. Like, I'm fair here, right? But anyways, they broke up, and he decided to get revenge and steal millions of dollars, like one to two or more, easily from this girl, just because she's kind of an airhead and didn't pay attention to her money or her checking account and that sort of thing. And apparently this went on for several years. I want to say she said at least two. And the reason he got away with it, well, there's a couple of reasons. Like I said, she's kind of an airhead. She didn't really pay attention to her checking account and stuff. Just kind of like a spoiled princess and everything. And that factored into it. It wasn't her money. It was excuse me. It was her parents' money. Like, they would just send her money all the time. So she's just a rich girl, and they would send her money, and he would siphon it off the top, and they didn't even notice, right? And also, he had one of her old debit cards, I guess, that she had given him, and he was still using. They forgot to turn it off or cut it up or change the account or anything. Like, it's really dumb, right? Like, why would you not do that? But he was pretty smart, right? So him and his ex, they had a lot of the similar interests. Like, they liked Broadway, they liked fine dining, they liked expensive clothes at the mall, that sort of thing. They liked traveling. So because they had a lot of the same interests, he would charge stuff on her card, and she wouldn't even realize, like, she didn't buy that. So that's how bad it is, but that's also pretty smart on his part, right? Yeah, not advocating crime or anything, but if you're gonna do it, at least be smart about it. And this guy was smart about it. So I guess like she went to Broadway a lot and went to expensive restaurants a lot, and he did too, and would just charge her card. And she went so often she didn't even notice. Like it didn't even phase her. Like I didn't go to Broadway yesterday. I don't know. Completely different lifestyle, the rich and famous, right? Like, but she even recognized it. And so he got away with doing this for several years, and she had no idea apparently. Now, I'm going to take this story with a grain of salt because, as we all know, there's he said and she said, and somewhere in between, and who knows what his side of the story is. It's sometimes like too hard to believe. You're like, oh my gosh, and like she could have been giving him money for a long time, and then after they break up, oh, he stole it. Like false accusations and stuff. Like I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt here and say she's telling the truth because she filed a police report and everything. But you never know. Like someone will definitely lie to get their ex-boyfriends in trouble. So like men do that too sometimes. So like just want to be fair, but also like keep that in the back of your mind just in case. Anyways, this went on for a while, and the only reason they caught him is because eventually the parents are like, "What the heck's going on? Like, where's all your money going?" Yeah. Like, and I'm sure it wasn't just him. Like, she spent a lot frivolously too. So they're giving her tons of money, enabling this behavior, and like, eventually they started cracking down on the budget, right? Like, I don't know if hard times happened or if the father or the mom like stepped up, like, what's going on, or usually it's a man like talking about budget stuff. But eventually they're like, we're giving you so much money, like where's all of it? And like they started investigating and like realized some of the purchases may look similar to stuff she did, but she wasn't there. She'd be traveling the world in like Hawaii or something, and like a Broadway show. Like it's not possible to be two places at once. And so they started connecting the dots, and they realized like he had access to her card still. It was most likely um, taking advantage of the situation and stealing a lot of money. So, like I said, I'm hearing all this. I'm like in shock and stuff. And I wave, like, we have like flags. I don't wave a flag to get my manager, because we're not allowed to get up. So I wave our flag to the manager come over. I'm like, this might be like out of my pay grade, like how do I handle this and everything. But they assured me like just do the steps and do the additional paperwork and then transfer the right department, and they would look into it a lot more. But so like I don't know like the ending, right? Like I don't know the full story. Like I don't know if he went to jail. I don't know if he was cleared of all charges since she's lying. Like I don't know the ending. Unfortunately, this is just my part in the process. But assuming her story is true and assuming like he's a bad person or whatever, so it's a crazy story, but it's almost like there's three different parties at fault here. Like obviously, if he's the bad guy, like the criminal, the one committing fraud and theft and everything, he's the main villain, right? Like no one's gonna argue that. But you could also argue like she's also at fault because she should know her own finances, right? And she should be paying attention to her budget and being a responsible adult, and she's not. She's a spoiled princess, a brat. Her parents pay for everything, and that's not a good quality in a woman. It's not a good quality in anybody, but like she needed to like be more responsible and just wasn't. Unfortunately, hopefully this is a good life lesson. Hopefully she grew some and changed after this. I doubt it, but hopefully, right? But also, you almost put some responsibility at the parents too, right? For several reasons. Like I know, like don't want to just blame the parents. People always blame the parents, but she's a spoiled brat, a little princess, because they enabled her to be that way, right? They're sending her tons and tons of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars at a time every month or something, 10,000 here and there. Like they keep sending her all this money. Like, of course she's just going to go crazy with it. She doesn't have the discipline or the wisdom or the whatever to be responsible with it, to be frugal with it, to save or invest or buy property or anything smart. Like, she just wasted it all because it's not her. Like, she didn't have to work for it. And like, so in some ways the parents are responsible. And um like, not just for sending her all that money and stuff, not for catching it earlier, but also just for how they raised her. Like, she didn't just wake up as an adult and be a spoiled brat. Like, they had to make her that way, like, after like 18, 20 plus years. So this is a long time coming. So like, yeah, the man was at fault. Yeah, she's at fault, but the parents are definitely at fault too. And like, it just goes to show, like, you have to be good with your money. You have to pay attention. You have to be responsible. You have to appreciate it. And you should work for it yourself. And like, even if, like, she still could have been rich and lived a life of luxury or whatever, but maybe she could have worked for it, like worked for her daddy's business and like at least earned part of it, so she understood like the value of a dollar and hard work and stuff. But she didn't even do that. Just given everything. But yeah, crazy story. I thought it was interesting. I wanted to share it with you. And I know like some people might call BS or whatever, but like, honest to God, this is a true story that happened to me at my time at the call center. And I'm telling it to the best of my memory. So like, maybe I got a little details wrong here and there, but to the best of my memory, it's a true story. It really happened, and assuming like she's being truthful and everything. It's just crazy, right? And like, before people just don't like truth is stranger than fiction sometimes, and like, there's a lot of really dumb people out there. So I definitely believe it. It doesn't surprise me. I've seen a lot of crazy things in my time. But yeah, interesting story that I like to share. Hopefully you liked it. If you did, if you wouldn't mind hitting that like button, it really helps out the channel. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna do more videos like this. I mostly do Ben's channel, like dating advice and stuff, and then traveling and living here in the Philippines and that sort of thing. But I also do a lot of reaction videos, so I'm gonna do more stories like this too, more story time stuff. So let me know if you liked it. Hopefully you did. Let me know in the comments what you thought. Have you ever been with someone like this, or you ever hear similar stories? I'd love to hear it. Anyways, hit that like, subscribe button. I'll see you next time. God bless. Peace.